Fuck me. E.
3, 2, 1. Boom. Episode 18 off topic. We are back again in the garage. The lights are bright. A day's turning into night.
Oh,
I can't fight, but it feels right.
How we fucking doing?
let's go.
We're joined by, I'd say, our third guest. We had Matt Jordan. We had the lovely Margaret.
Oh, yeah.
And
What a woman.
one of the boys. He's
Gentlemen.
Welcome. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, yeah, I can't reach it. Well done.
Cheers, Andy. The first of, one of the boys, Jayden. You've probably heard him in a bunch of the stories that we've told. He was there for more or less all of them.
Too right. From the beginning, really.
How did you guys meet then? You've been friends for how long now?
Couldn't put a number on it, really. Eh?
I'd say like maybe since we were like 8-ish. No, because I went to a different primary school till I was 7. And then I broke my leg. And I rock
Full
up
body
to
cast.
I rock up to
We
school
laugh
visits.
about it.
It is pretty funny looking back on it now. It was frustrating because at the time we were renting a house in Massey that had one step in it to get from the bedroom to the lounge and the kitchen area. And I was like, man, every time I just wanted to go to my room, I had to wheel up to the step and be like, guys. But then,
So that's why your family went into slabs.
Pretty much.
Fuck that one step.
but how we met was more or less, well, I think I put it down to our dads playing indoor cricket together down in Henderson.
Yep. At was it Planet Sports or something?
Planet Sports,
Planet
yeah.
Sports. Yeah. Fond memories of that place. No, it was good. Yeah, they just played. I don't know. Was there any other people that we know that was in those teams? Not that I remember. Eh?
No, not really. I asked Dad the other day, I was like, how was Vaughan? Jaden's dad. How was he? And he was like, that guy is 10 years younger than me and he was athletic. You had Vaughan on the back fence.
Yeah. He was quick too, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
Chased me around the house a few times, but
Not playing.
no.
You're probably naughty or did something.
Oh yeah.
That's why I remember I would have been maybe like, actually I don't know how old I was the day that I finally, because I used to race my dad and I was like, damn, like my dad can kick high, my dad can run fast and all of that.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, there's that switch where you're like, I'll blitz you. I will blitz you.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, I had that moment, but I thought I was past that moment, and then like I remember like one day, me and my old man, we went to like shopping centre, and it was like started pissing down, and we're like, okay, where's the car? And, oh yeah, and we started like running to the car, like so we didn't get wet.
Yep.
Dude fucking beat me. I was like, Trev, what the hell?
The old boy.
Still got wheels.
Spewing.
Yeah.
Slapped it into fuck, I forgot. VTEC.
VTEC.
Yeah.
The old Honda.
No, do you remember when we were flatting a couple of years ago, me, you and Harry were having a few beers and then we were like, fuck it, let's go down to the fields and have some sprints.
Yeah, that was
Harry was
fantastic.
quick.
Harry's quick.
Yeah,
man.
well,
That
I
dude
think
was quick.
I think that's what sparked the whole thing. Like we were having a few beers at ours, like you said, and then
Yeah.
we're talking about like, you know, as we do, we reminisce about the olden days, us 26-year-olds.
Yeah.
And we lived just up from Westlake, Lower Fields, and we walked down, pissed as, and then we like did like 100-meter sprints, and I thought I could take you both. I mean, I used to be quick, but yeah.
Well, that's how we met. Me and you.
Was it? Oh yeah.
More or less. Oh, that's my
In a way.
that's my earliest memory as such of you.
Yeah, same here.
My earliest memory of you was when we played football.
Yeah.
And I think you went up for a header,
Yeah.
and Megan,
Oh yeah.
who was a phenomenal soccer player,
Yeah.
football player,
Still is, I think.
you went up for a header with her, eh?
Yeah.
Full contest, and split your eye. Was it your eyebrow? It must
No.
have been your eyebrow. No, there.
It was her.
Oh, she did it.
So-
Damn, Andy.
I head-butted a woman. On accident, right? On accident. So we went up for a contested header. She got the ball first.
Yeah.
She was a great footballer.
Yeah.
Of course, she got to the ball first.
Yep.
I followed through. My big dome hit her nose.
But that's how you
split
got
her.
that scar, right?
No. I got
No?
that scar when I was like 2 years old.
Okay, so I remember you. I just remember you as the kid with the scar,
Yeah, I've had
and
that
because
my
you were
whole life.
mates. Obviously, you're really close with Kirsty and Chelsea, and I knew Kirsty and Chelsea quite well because we went to school with her. Well, them, and then Bev. That's how I knew Bev. So I knew you and Bev were always hanging out with them.
Yeah, we're at
But
T-
I always
TNIS.
it was
Shout it out.
your scar, and I always thought that was because of Megan.
Nah. I was like 2 years old and
So you came out unscathed, and she just
broke her nose. I think,
she
yeah.
just
Andy was just gutted after claiming that he was the fastest on the field that he got beat to the ball.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
spewing. Yeah, no, that's how I remember you. But I guess me and you met at Westlake.
I think
At
yeah,
school?
like officially,
Properly.
I knew who you were beforehand.
Yeah.
I can't remember like
Vice versa.
us actually meeting and going like, oh, nice
Yeah.
to meet you.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
That's,
That's right.
the
that's
thing.
right.
I remember
I
the
remember that.
the childhood memories, and then I'd remember, like, I don't remember the first time we hung out solo
yeah.
or like something like that.
It was like 2 years into meeting you guys. I think it was like, oh, what? Oh, we're all best friends now.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
it.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Well, 'cause you heard about how me and Jared like sort of first met each other
Maybe I don't know.
because I played football, Jared played rugby,
Right.
and we hated each other's guts.
Ah.
Like hated each other's guts.
I was out of the wheelchair at this point.
Yeah. He was actually mobile, but
I hate that guy in the body cast. On my first day of primary
Damn
school,
cripples.
John Gardner. Okay, I'm out of after not only doing my first school visit in a wheelchair and a full body cast, only wearing like silk no fear boxes.
yeah, boy.
I'm finally out. I had like a whole year off school, and in that time I moved school, and I'm climbing to the top of the playground. I'm like, hell yeah. And then I just get Spartan kicked in the back on the second story, like down the fireman's pole, hit the ground. I look up and it's John Gardner. The guy with the American Ninja Warrior course in his backyard.
Oh, and I know he's not watching, but that guy is a dick. That guy was a dick. Yeah. He was a bit
him
older
out.
than us, too. He's like your sister's age, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the one thing I loved about going to a small school as well, is that you just knew everyone.
Knew everybody, yeah.
You literally, like, I swear at one point in time, I could name every student at that school. Like easily. I don't know, because
And,
you
like,
went,
and
you went to
multiple
Waimalku,
schools.
didn't you?
Nah, I lived in Waimalku, but I went to...
Oh, no, you went to Huapai.
Huapai.
That's
But
right.
you still knew people from other schools, especially like athletics days or whatever.
And-
you know, like you'd come up against the same
Yep.
people because
Yep.
they're in the same year as you, just different
Yep.
school. But like
Well-
Waimalku, Huapai, Taupeki.
That's right.
Well, it's
And
just-
when
they
you
just
go
Yeah.
fought
when
each
you
other.
go to these small local schools, you have like the three fastest, or
Yeah.
generally it's
Yeah.
just three kids that are the best at most sports.
Yeah.
So you all sort of, that's how you get to know each other, really, don't you?
Yeah, and that's how I think I knew you guys, like, kind of met you guys
Yeah.
probably through random.
Well, that's how I met a bunch of the boys was through Kumi Rugby. Was
Yep.
that everyone played that pretty young. And then I met Harry. My meeting with Harry was pretty funny, eh? So just touch at Kumi every Thursday. And at the end of year, like the last game of the year, and that were finals or whatever, they get abandoned. All the dads get on the piss and everything. And me and Harry were so young that, you know, we were just playing out on the field, whatever. And it ended up just being like me and him. And I turned to Harry and I was like, those guys look kind of drunk. Like, they look like they're going to fight. And then just 2 seconds later, like a 20-man brawl breaks out.
Hell yeah.
And me and Harry were like, oh, hell yeah, man.
This
And
is
then,
living.
yeah, Harry was like, by the way, I'm the fastest at Riverhead. And I was like, nice. Want to race me to that goalpost? And then he blitzed me, and I was like, who is this? Like,
Yeah, right here.
who is this
forgot that.
oracle?
The
Yeah,
gentle
well, so
giant.
that's how we met because I remember playing. I never played rugby growing up. I always played football, and then we had like you have like the school zone days or whatever they are for different sports or whatever it was called. I can't remember. And they put me on the wing playing rugby, and I was like, oh yeah, sweet, that's fine because I'm quick.
Yeah.
And I got the ball in a bit of space, and I was like, boy, time to shine. So I put the afterburners on down the wing, and lo and behold, I get chased down and wrapped around my leg, like my ankles and knees, and there's Jared just hanging on for life. And I was like, how the fuck is this guy like? How did he catch me? And then that was my first ever like thought of you. It was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how we all met. Was just a lot of like, fuck
That's
you,
right.
I hate you.
Yeah.
And then it's like, this guy's not so bad.
But
Yeah.
it can, yeah.
We're not
that's
so
right.
different, you and I.
That's good.
You
Competition.
got that
brings
Ronaldo
the best.
jersey, and I haven't taken off this Highlanders shirt in 3 weeks.
Ronaldo.
He had a Real Madrid Ronaldo jersey.
I
Oh,
did,
yeah.
yeah. I was, yeah. Like like you've always told me, Andy. I like the big names in sport.
Specific players.
I've
in
never really
different
been like
sports.
a team guy, but I'm more like this guy's the man, and I'm gonna follow that guy.
Yeah,
So,
I can appreciate that. Like I was obviously brought up different with like a heavy team
yeah.
based sort of support.
Oh, 100%.
You know, like if I was to say not have that, then I feel like I would be much the same because I've got great respect for a massive amount of players in different sports and stuff like that. It's like basketball. Like I look at players, I have no idea about the teams or any loyalty to them. I just,
You're like, that guy's the man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
yeah.
And I enjoy watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I'm the
respect
same.
that.
That's how I've always been. So, yeah.
What have you guys been up to?
Well, I've had an all good week, but I got a speeding ticket in the mail today.
Oh, yeah.
I was going 64 and a 50.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. Well, actually, surprisingly, I was like, $80?
Yeah.
That's nothing.
Nah, man. After watching, not Border Patrol, what's it like, Aussie Cops or whatever it is, they get done so bad.
Bro, I went 56 in a 50 in Oz, and I got hit with a $300 fine
What?
for going 6 Ks over. Fuck. That's hectic.
That's cuckoo
eh?
bananas.
Yeah.
And look, this fine, okay, I just
Only
laughed about.
Are you getting paid like $300 an hour there though?
Yeah, well, that's also true. But I laughed when I got this one because, yeah, the missus called me and told me, oh, like, you got a fine. And I was like, fuck. I was like, how did I get a fine? Like, I'm not really like a speeder, you know, like, I generally just, I'm pretty good. And then,
Not the van.
the date, yeah. But, well, this is what was in our car. And the date was the 30th. So we would, of
Driving
December.
up north
so
or
we were
something.
going up north.
Yeah.
Right, we get over the bloody Glenderwins,
Oh, the Brindaloons.
the Brindalewins, and anyway, Coda vomits. I was like, fuck. So I'm losing my shit. I'm like stressing out. Clean him up.
Coda's his
driving
son.
through.
Just-
Yeah,
just
Coda,
like-
my 2-year-old boy.
Just,
And
it's the Uber driver's name.
He'll be next.
I'm on a
guest.
bus next to some dude and he just vomits.
Yeah.
Just go, hello, my name is Coda.
Covered in vomit. Sorry, mate, what's your name? Coda. Yeah.
Anyway, and then, so I clean him up. We're driving. Ivy, my daughter, starts crying. She's only like 6 months old. She's just losing it, crying, and I'm like, for Christ's sake. So anyway, so I turn the music up, and I'm driving through Moriwa, right? And this is where I get done in Moriwa.
Of all
And
places.
of all places, and I'm sitting there talking to Rachel, like, yeah, like, you know, this place shouldn't be a 60, this place, or 50, I think it is. This place shouldn't be 50. It should be a bloody 100 zone. Like, you know, you don't really want to stop there. It's just get in and get out. It's a bit of a rough area.
I
for
know
you.
it.
Yeah. And anyway, yeah, turns out I got caught in Moriwa, and you know, I don't condone speeding, but I do condone speeding in Moriwa. So get out of there as quick as you
heard
can.
it here first.
Once you get that far up, though, you're like, no cops are hanging out here.
Yeah.
Dude.
You sure there wasn't like a fake camera and they just sent you like a letter in the post?
Just to get some revenue.
Just to get some money?
I mean, everyone that lives
That's
there.
all the cops are.
Yeah.
I mean, all the cops. Well, everyone there just. I didn't even think they had cops. They all just work at.
No, I
at
didn't
the
mean a
meat
cop.
works.
Meatworks,
I mean like
yeah.
a citizen of Murray.
Oh, yeah.
Performs a citizen's arrest.
yeah.
Just wanted $80. So.
A mullet down to the ass. Yeah, nah. So yeah, that was my. Well,
Big woo for the week.
big woo for the week. Old $80.
Damn.
Yeah. What about you?
I'd be eating rice crackers for the week. Nah, yeah, mine was all good. Did fuck all really. Just back at work again, and it's been bloody hot, and then yeah, not
It
much
has
to
been
report.
pretty hot, eh?
But
It was kind of cold today, a little bit colder.
yeah, it was nice
A bit windy.
this morning. Yeah.
Yeah. I was in the office
Ah.
and we just got aircon.
Ah, here we go.
The dream.
We're back to fuck you.
Oh, we'll come together again when we're like 38. We're like, you're not so different, you and I.
I slapped the wall. I've got aircon, Jared. It took me 38 years.
Yeah. No, I chilled, man. I don't even have a big week. There's honestly not much to report. I watched Don't Look Up, the movie.
Yeah, I've also watched it.
Yeah, thoughts, feelings.
Different.
Wow. I thought it was pretty good, to be honest. It's not one for the ages, but
No.
I think the cameos in it are fantastic. What they're trying to get across, like the message they're trying to get across, like really does get across, and it's like oh yeah, like it's so obvious when you watch it that you're like, oh, this makes a lot of sense, but then to a lot of people it probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but like for people like us, we're like, yeah, okay, we understand what you're trying to say here.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
impending doom is
And
happening.
it's a scary thought. Like when you're watching it, I guess all you can really think about is like imagine if that was happening. Like
spoilers. If
yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, let's just spoil it. Fuck it. If you haven't seen this, skip to fucking a little bit ahead when we're not talking about it.
That's right.
So it's a comedy, a Netflix film, directed by Adam McKay, who, if you didn't, he's pretty well known for his comedies. He's worked a lot with Will Ferrell. He did the Talladega Nights. He did Step Brothers. He did Anchorman.
The best.
Yeah.
Like that's like the triple threat right there.
Yeah. He did The Big Short. If
Yep.
you've ever seen that.
No,
It's like
actually,
it's
I
a
haven't seen that.
stock movie about like shorting stocks.
Yeah.
That's probably why I haven't.
I find it hard to follow. There's a lot of linguistics in it that I didn't understand when I first watched it. But I thought this movie was, it's so adherently on the nose with everything that it's trying to perceive. I mean, they swapped. Like Meryl Streep, I think she does a good job as the president, and she's this. It's not said out loud, but she's this Republican president, right?
Yeah.
And her whole thing is like, I just need to win these votes over, like, fuck, what's happening kind of thing. I'm not going to say I'd say it's mirrored off Donald Trump, right? And
100%.
yeah,
100%.
I mean, the whole thing of having like the son that's riding shotgun the whole time.
Yeah,
Is that meant to be like a DTJ, little Donald Trump Jr.?
And he plays it perfect.
It's so fucking
Yeah,
funny.
played by
it
Jonah
perfect.
Hill.
Yeah.
And he's fantastic in it, and
Hard.
you just everything he says, you're just cracking up the whole time, and you can't help. He must have like written part of it or like produced it or something, because
Surely.
there's a lot of it that's like his comedy is involved.
Well, apparently
film.
he did that a lot on The Wolf of Wall Street, where there's so much back and forth. Excuse me. Where Leo was saying that some of the things he said, like the whole like, oh, you like, I heard you fucked your cousin, your cousin scene, like that whole thing where he's like, yeah, we're just gonna take him out to a farm and throw him out the door, and that was just on the spot.
Yeah.
And they said like it gets to a point when you're working with Jonah Hill, it's like, man, it feels like he's genuine about everything. He must give himself such a big background check when he goes into these roles. Either that or his mind is just on.
For sure. He's a genius though. For and you can see that he's like passionate about making movies as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think he was he on the Hot Ones? You watched the Hot Ones, eh?
Yeah,
I think he had a recent one. Maybe. I could be wrong.
Nah, Seth Rogen was on.
Oh, was it
recently.
Seth?
Yeah. But,
Oh, no, it was Seth.
yeah.
They're easily to get mixed up.
Can we just say something? Kate Blanchett.
Bro,
Oh, are we talking gilf right now? Like, she still got it, man.
have you seen
Like, I ain't wrong. I ain't fucking wrong.
Nah.
Like,
Yeah. I thought her and Tyler Perry, and it was so good.
I thought it was fantastic. Like, great casting, like to have them two, and just I think, she's stunning, man. I couldn't believe it.
I
Yeah,
cracked
she
up
is.
at the
She
part when
is.
they're in the back of the car and he's pretty much at his wit's end. Like he feels like the world's not gonna listen to him, and she's like, oh, he said to her, he's like, and I thought I loved you, and she's like, you did, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, that's crazy, and then just gets out of the car and like,
Yeah, nah. It was a good movie, but it was also, you know.
I
like-
think I don't know. You said you didn't really definitely think this, but I thought it was a bit of a play on like what's happening with the world with the pandemic, and I don't want to talk about pandemic shit too much, but just the whole idea of there's a chunk of people that are like, it doesn't exist, it's a hoax. Let's move on with our lives, and there's a bunch of people like, no, this is a real world thing that if not treated correctly, we can do this, and then there's this whole other sector of like, we can make money out of this.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think that's part of it. But also, people like say Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, right? And he's real big on saving the planet and all that. But it's the same story, just told differently, right? So it's this.
They use it
It's
as a
this-
motif.
Yeah, it's this big
for
thing that's gonna happen to mankind. But there's everyone out there is so ignorant and they don't believe that it's gonna happen. But no matter what they think, it's still gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then there's people like still trying to make money or try to become famous or make move up the ranks in the polls or whatever, and it's like, hey, but you're all gonna die, so this is irrelevant.
Yeah,
That's right.
They
That's
don't believe it because it's gonna make them more money.
right.
So it's I don't think it's just COVID. I think it's just
A play on anything.
on anything like that. So global warming, COVID,
But they just made it so obvious as a comet coming to Earth.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
I really enjoyed Timothy Chalamet in it. Man, that dude has got to be so he plays the Jennifer Lawrence's.
Oh wow, I didn't even pick that up.
That's Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, wow, okay.
That dude is crushing
Yeah,
everything he
he's very
touches
great
at the moment.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Dune.
Still haven't seen it.
Yeah,
No, neither.
it's good. It was one of those movies that it came out just as kind of cinemas and shit were opening up again here. Glad I did. I love when they do a fantasy kind of sci-fi thing right. Not fantasy, it is sci-fi. When they do that right, where they build these other worlds and everything, that's so sick.
Yep. Yep.
And his little fingerling potatoes thing, where he's like, I fucking love fingerling potatoes. That cracked me up. But everything that dude touches turns to gold. He's reminding me of like Matt Damon in the late 90s, where he just had that run of, I think he went straight off, Andy, what is it, with Robin Williams?
Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting. And then he went straight into Talented Mr. Ripley, which Kate Blanchett in that as well. And then he did another one straight after that.
Another, I think in the film as well, like great fucking cameo, Kid Cudi. I think
Yeah.
that was
Me too. I thought
fantastic.
that
You
was-
know,
that
like
was
I
pretty
mean,
cool.
Ariana Grande is overplayed. Like it's no disrespect to her, but like she's been in a few films and things like that. Like that's a cameo you expect to see.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then when Kid Cudi came out, it was like
It's
I
different.
was like, oh shit! Like I
Yeah,
hadn't seen
yeah.
him in a film before. Like you know,
and he's a cool dude.
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Apparently, Ariana Grande got told when she was going into it, was like, we know what you are in the real world, and we're going to pretty much take the piss out of it. Like,
Yeah.
so,
I'm sure she was game for it though. Like,
yeah,
'cause
that's why she signed up for it.
Yeah,
she was
did
like,
a good
I know.
job of
Bagging
like portraying
on celebrityism
like
kind
herself,
of thing.
but,
Yeah.
but and obviously in a over exaggerated way.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the scenes, sort of like towards the end, and the comet's coming towards Earth, and the main characters, they're all like with their family and stuff.
Like around the dinner table.
That was
Yeah,
that hit
yeah.
home for me.
Yeah,
that-
the
yeah.
same.
Me too. Me
and
too.
and what I started thinking, I was like, if the world was going to end and you're in that situation, like, how open would you start to be, like, with your parents or your kids or your family? Like, how?
Can we backtrack? If you got the warning they got where you had 6 months and you
Okay.
knew this thing was hitting in 6 months, what would you change? What would you? Well, how would you?
I
I'd smoke crack.
question.
I'll say it.
I don't know.
I'd do shit. I'd do shit like that.
I would
Shit
definitely.
that would ruin your life in the long term.
Yeah.
but it's
I'd
all
ram raid a
good.
gas
Yeah.
station,
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, it
Yeah,
would
I'd
turn
do
into
some
like the
stupid
purge.
Yeah.
It would. It really would.
But no, like not if everyone knew. Only you knew. I'd get fucking the craziest tattoos, or like, and go nuts on probably try every drug that I could, just
I
because
guess-
if you're not going to live after those 6 months, like, you know, addiction's not going to be a problem, money's not going to be a problem, you know, like these things, it's like,
Yeah.
well, fuck it, like,
Yeah, it would be more like, you're right. Like, you'd be doing things that you'd feel like you'd be judged for if you didn't, like, currently.
Yeah.
But if you're like, well, 6 months, no one's gonna remember in 6 months. We'll all be dead. Like,
There'd be a lot of people just boning.
yep,
I think a lot of
yeah.
people.
yep. People
Not if-
you wouldn't
not if we-
expect.
not if you're the only person that knew.
No, okay, this is.
I get what you mean. Yeah. And he's like, only I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, the world's. You walk in, there's a nice lady at the supermarket or something. You walk up to her.
Supermarket.
Oh, hey,
The cashier.
Yeah, I'll just get the pepperoni sticks, this 100 grams of champagne ham, and look, the world's going to end for me, you,
Well, let's go.
Westgate parking lot.
Just make sure you double bag it.
Last time we didn't double bag and the bottom came out.
With your pepperoni sticks. How heavy pepperoni sticks?
Damn, you got some big bags. No, that's 300 grams of champagne ham, baby. I got to go to work on Monday.
You just put your schmeat on the conveyor belt.
Just
Dude.
it's getting jammed. It's like
Scans.
You got a loyalty card? Oh, I'm not looking to be loyal.
Oh, fucking hell. But that's one of the points of the film. Like, he's obviously married with kids and everything. And
Yeah.
and then he's not loyal, right? Because he knows it's going to... I think there would be a lot of that going on. And it's... I don't think it's...
it'd bring the true colours
I'm a
out
man
of
of
people.
God.
fuck
Yeah.
off.
My God.
For Jesus.
But I don't think it would be anything on their character of like... Because obviously if the world wasn't going to end or anything, like I think he's probably still loved his wife and he wouldn't do those sorts of things. He probably just got caught up in the whole situation of like...
He
fuck,
did.
it's
There
gonna-
is the whole, like, it's not a montage, but there is a small arc in the movie where he starts leaning into being a celebrity, and even he starts to say certain things that he doesn't want to until he does the breakdown. And then in the end, he's like, yeah, you know, I was on a few magazine covers and everything. And that's when he's coming back home and all that. But he's doing this whole thing because, Kate Blanchett and Tyler Perry, they're doing, it's like the Daily Rip, I think the TV show's called. Man, we are ripping this whole... I really hope no one's hoping to watch it. It's been out for like 3
Dude,
weeks.
they're
Yeah,
going to
like,
watch
come on.
that before they listen to the podcast. Let's be honest.
Let's go. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But I think that going back to that whole scene of them sitting around
The dinner table.
that one.
That hit home to me too. For me, having kids,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, you know, and I don't mean to bring negativity on it, but it reminded me of like when Kobe had his crash, and he's, you know, yes, it's 30 seconds or whatever, but he's with his daughter, and you've got 30 seconds to be like reflecting on something. I guess with this, you've got a lot of time, but when you have kids, it's probably different for me. But when you're having like you've got your kids, like all you want
What
to
do
do
you
is
say in
protect
those
them.
30 seconds?
That's right. That's right. But you know, and you know that it's cut like this. The comment's coming. It's like, whoa.
I think what they did really well as well is like actually showing like what happened. Sorry, excuse me.
Talk through a bit.
The ABCs.
So hold it down, John. John Mulaney. Go look him up if you haven't seen him. Apologies.
Jeez. You still going to Italy?
Holy.
I think they did a really good job on showing the actual like comet hitting, and like because they didn't leave anything up to imagination, like, right? So they made that scene really suspenseful, and they even showed like things coming in and like about to destroy the house, and it was just this like It was like
When
you
they
actually
had-
got to see.
They had that
it
couple of
happen.
minutes of when the cups start shaking and everything,
Yeah.
and they're trying to talk through it, and then like,
Yeah.
no, he
Pretending
he
like
loves
it's
his
not
coffee,
happening.
and
Yeah.
I grind my own beans and all of that, and it's like
It was
everyone's just
a
trying to
great-
hold it together.
It was a great combination of like not leaving up to too much imagination and like cutting it off at the right point of like you
Yeah.
got that
You know what
felt
was
what was
happening. That's
happening.
right. Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
did a great job with that because a lot of things it's like they you know, fucking wide angle zoom of Earth or whatever, and
Yeah, and
pop
go
it hits
boom.
and it's like
See.
boom, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
ah,
Yeah. Nah, 100. I agree too.
Like-
Yeah. No, it was done really well.
It wasn't. Look, I'm not a religious guy by any means, but when it is that part when
just said before, praise Jesus or something.
I walk with Christ, but
Fucking-
you know,
Fucking hard cut that, please, someone.
That'll
Jared,
be-
you're
that'll-
editing this. You're hard
that'll be
cutting
the
yourself.
that'll be in
the
another
bloopers.
episode. Yeah. But when they are sitting around the dinner table and they're like, look, they say the same thing. They're like, we're not religious, but I think it's time that we say something. And Timothy Chalamet's character steps
Yo.
up and he says the little prayer thing.
And the black guy is like, he's like, yo, he's got some church game.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where people are really ignorant to it until a time of real need. And then you're like, man, when you don't have much to turn to, you kind of hope. Like that's where faith really comes into it. And
Yeah, I'm going to repent as hell on my deathbed. It's like, well, just in case, you know?
Just in case.
Just in case.
I only said there was 4 nuggets in the bag. There was 5. Sorry, BP.
What do you guys reckon about a sequel?
I
Can you
don't
imagine?
need-
Like, so,
yeah.
so they, obviously.
How? They're all dead.
No, so there's a.
Okay.
Oh, right. I get what you mean. Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
this-
Yeah.
Okay, if you haven't seen the film, spoilers, but so there's a aircraft that makes it off
Yeah. Yeah.
Earth,
Yeah.
and 22,740 years later, they land in another planet that can sustain life and blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. A spin-off sequel of that would be, or like some sort of series, especially with
doesn't
the
it
actors
doesn't it
that are-
allude to them because during the film they say when that kind of Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos dude saying, oh, he says to the president like, I've seen how you die. It's 99.7%.
Yeah.
You get eaten by like a brachia or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they get onto the new planet, they see one. He's like, I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
But then it kind of shows them eating them all. So I'm assuming they get.
That's what I thought. But
Who knows?
You could be right. They might. I don't know.
What if someone's
two of them
someone's
survive.
cryo chamber didn't freeze?
Plus, you
Unfreeze.
also get some Meryl Streep side boob. Just saying.
You
reckon
do.
You reckon that was actually her nude with her? That's her actual tramp stamp.
I'd like to.
Who knows? I mean,
I don't know. Might ask
I'm asking the questions
Andy's
that
a
need
hard
answers.
questions.
Andy is walking flat-footed down Gilf Lane right now.
Oh,
Damn.
God. Don't show me my life.
I think it is. I think Meryl Streep's got a back tattoo.
Yeah.
I mean,
She's lived through
made
some
it.
crazy times.
She's like, hey, nothing a little tramp stamp won't hurt.
Yeah.
I think like the last thing I want to say on this film, like with like modern marketing and modern journalism and things like that, I think adding like memes into the film and integrating it into the film is such a good way, like publicity way for like younger audiences to like understand it. And it is like a modern day like sort of journalist thing, right? Like
It's like
they
advertisement.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
created memes, like
Yeah.
the media created memes
Yep.
in the film to display their insanity or whatever.
That's right. Yeah.
And but that's now a modern day thing of
It
modern
is. That's right.
journalism.
Yeah,
And I
that's how
think-
news gets out now. You hope to go viral. It's the same with music. As long as your song goes viral or it's put to a video or something like that, if it goes big on TikTok
Yeah.
or something,
Like,
that's
look at
bigger
that
than...
Island Boys song. Like,
Yeah.
it is dog shit,
Yeah.
but everyone knows it,
Yeah.
and it's just it's a joke. Like, really.
Palm tree, motherfucker.
But you know what I mean? Like, that's exactly right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Going viral. That's all it takes, really.
The whole way they
nowadays.
navigate through journalism in that movie is a big stab at what's happening because it's it's a talk show where it doesn't happen so much in New Zealand. In New Zealand, definitely the news reporters do just kind of say the news, right?
Yep.
They
I
don't
think we
usually
do well in New Zealand.
yeah, impartial to a degree, you know. I mean, obviously they're progressive and like all that stuff, but in America and overseas,
We're on a-
Who's John Mulaney
I'm
now?
not talking through it.
Oh,
Oh, she's a physicist.
They do a good. No, they don't say they do a good job. American news reporters and that they're told to have some personality. They can add their twist to it. They have like a left wing, like right wing type of news because they have so many different options. You have your CNNs and your Fox and all of that.
Yeah.
And whether you're liberal or Republican and all of that, they do a good job on the movie of showing the ignorance and just pretty much like, yeah, we know the truth, but we need ratings and we need to be able to talk about what's going to keep people happy because otherwise,
Yep.
you know, the worst thing you can do is kind of bring fear and bring, and dare I say, report the actual news.
That's right. That's true. That is true.
Mm.
yeah.
don't know.
I think like with the like modern media and like modern journalism and things like that, like it's pretty much like a dying breed at this point. I mean,
For our generations,
yeah,
for sure.
I'm no expert, but you know, like I listened to a few other podcasts and things like that. I know like Joe Rogan talks to Jordan Peterson and things like that, and things like the New York Times is like the biggest. That's your coup de grace of
For
It's
sure.
a reputable source.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Or
and-
was.
yeah, it was
was for sure.
and nowadays they're like publishing things that's almost like a ancient style of clickbait, right? So they
Yeah, a
had
tabloid like the Sun or something.
have this big heading about some bullshit, and they said this, and they'll take 3 quotes out of context, and they'll
Yep.
go quote this tiny little bit, blah 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 blah, quote this tiny little blah
Yep.
blah blah, and then it's just making them out to be an absolute
It's
fucking
the
asshole.
fucking Woman's Day. Like, come on.
Can't
Like,
say
when
I read
every-
that, but
yeah, but when you know
Oh,
when
I
you
did.
were
I read a
shopping,
lot of Women's Day
when
back
you were
in the
it's every time I looked at a Woman's Day magazine, whether I was, you know, at Countdown or in Jared's bathroom, it was always like Brad Pitt and
Always Brad
yada
Nash
yada like.
and Jennifer Aniston.
But now that was probably, especially before social media, you know, all these celebrities have their own accounts and shit like that. So you can sort of see like, okay, that's all bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But back then, they could write all that clickbait, and people would click on it. Oh, you know,
Yeah,
open the page
or
and read
read it,
about
yeah.
it, and then they'll go, oh well, they're not together. And then in reality, like they're happily married with like 7 orphans. Like,
Yeah, or it's like sleeping in separate bedrooms. And it was like, I slept with the kid last night. He was vomiting
that's right, dude.
all over his name tag.
That is like 33% of my life.
what, reading Women's Days in
No,
Jared's bathroom?
sleeping. Well, actually, probably 2%.
My mum for so long was such an avid Woman's Day subscriber. It turned up every Monday. You flick straight to the back for the rags, and then like just the trash news. Like at the front would always be like the full page spreads, you know, your centerfolds and all of that.
Or like
and then
your mum that's had like quadruplets and like
Yeah.
like write-ups like
what's
that.
Dr. Mum doing now?
Yeah.
You know what she's doing? She's getting everything sewed back up because
Do you remember having to get like TV guides?
Yeah.
Like you had to get the latest TV guide every week at like
Yep.
the weekly shopping.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always had the newspaper, and I was like, I never had like Sky until I was way older. So the it was just what's the big movie on Channel 2 this week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all know what it was at Christmas. Home Alone.
Oh, yeah. That could have gone anywhere.
Bad grandpa. Oh wait. Bad sound.
Home Alone, which nowadays would have been solved in a text. Yo, mum, you left me.
Yeah.
And then just, I'm alive. My parents left me at home.
Yeah.
I'm on the phone to Sifs.
I'm in Chicago.
Could just order Uber Eats like the whole time.
Dude,
Yeah.
it would have been the best.
Yeah.
No way.
But yeah, like part of this like whole like the modern day media and how like these big journalist companies like shutting down and stuff like that, and then everything's turning to online for media, and that's what I'm talking about. Like how clickbait now is so much bigger because, like you say, clickbait was also a thing with older journalism because fucked up title. You actually read it and you're like, hey, that's not what you meant.
Yeah.
And now they just title something on YouTube.
Well,
with like a crazy photo, and you're like, "Fuck yeah, I'm gonna watch that."
That's right.
14 minutes later, you're like, "I did not see what
they
you were
allude
talking
to
about."
it at the end, the tiniest bit. The thing now with especially a lot of it being online is that everything's done by ad space. People pay for ad space, right? And if you get traffic to that website, then the ad space pays you. Well, it's like BuzzFeed and stuff like that. So it's not even a case of I want to spread the right message. It's just a case of we need people to funnel onto this website. They scroll past a couple of ads. That's cash in the back pocket.
Oh, that's right. But like, I guarantee you, if you guys like labeled this podcast as like Israel Adesanya crashes the podcast, like you're gonna gain an extra 1,000 views or something. Just
We have our title.
but you know what I mean, like
but the next.
But then you might lose.
Media is going to be like, well, fuck that.
That's right. But that's what I'm saying. Like things like that can happen. It's quite people are still going to be like, I wonder if it happens. Like,
So, this ties into like a bit of like the whole cancel culture, right? So like, listen to like say like KSI's talking about, and I don't want to go too much into cancel culture. We've talked about this before. Yeah. But just the whole there's a lot of clickbait on how to like, and they're trying to like destroy other creators and things like that. And it's like and he says something like, if you're with your significant other and someone goes, "Oh, you can't be together," as in like the creator and the fans, you're not going to just stop being together because someone says something, right? So at what point does the clickbait it's like stop working when it's like towards sort of like cancel culture?
Well, that's right.
Like they're not going to get much further. They're going to get found out a lot quicker. Yeah.
No,
Well, that's the thing. It's the people that you see on the top with YouTube and that, they're not using clickbait. They're just titling. I mean, they are, but it's more the people that are not quite top tier. You know what I mean?
And it's also very minuscule. Like, it's not like, like how I just like described it. Like, it's not like that at all. But yeah, it definitely works.
Like with our like access to the internet, like so much more, like these like clickbait things are going to get found out a lot quicker. And like, whereas like in older journalism, you could get away with it for longer. And now it takes you, I'm going to read that, click the video. That's not what that's about. Fuck that guy. Never listen to him again.
For sure.
Next person. So like,
I mean, it kind of works on both parts then, because I think the people that are consuming are a lot smarter now, and that's one thing they do give credit for the younger generations. They call people out. Yeah. When something's bullshit, it's
behind
bullshit.
The keyboard, though.
Yeah.
That motherfucker ain't saying shit face to face.
This isn't the 80s. Yeah. Nah. For sure.
All right. Well, like you were saying, I'm going to double back to the movie. There's a scene. Yeah. So we're talking about the end credits. So there's another after credits video, and this kind of ties into a Reddit thread that I saw and was asked you guys about it. And actually, no, we'll save that one for later. The Reddit thread that I saw, and I want to ask you guys, was if you could go back. So the thing was, if you could go back to the start of humans, which by definition was, while our ancestors have been around for about 6 million years, the modern form of humans only evolved about 200,000 years ago.
Is that
damn
David Atom Jared?
I was just going to say, with a voice like that, you could be like,
yeah, that was
not
great.
Jared from Subway, but like,
no,
you could be the Subway boy.
Jared holds up a sub like that's
I slap it on the conveyor belt. Here's my foot long.
Back to the checkout. Dude, I didn't even hear what you said. I was
it was the voice.
I was mesmerized by the.
I was like, damn.
By the commentary. Just repeat that. Please.
Thank you, buttery smooth, baby.
Fuck.
So if you could go back 200,000 years, right, with the knowledge, I'll say with the knowledge that you have now
Okay.
to the dawn of the modern man.
So you're literally going back in time. Like,
Yeah.
you're teleporting back to like...
Yeah, you got nothing in your pockets,
yep.
so you don't
Yeah,
have
sweet. Just
anything.
the knowledge in your head.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
And you can ride on the caves.
Yep.
Or you can leave something behind.
Yep.
What would you do to... Okay, you can either troll or you can send mankind in the wrong direction for a laugh. Or...
Oh, but there's a whole thing that there, like, if you could leave something to...
Yeah, the butterfly effect, yeah.
Inevitably
Inevitably.
make you not born and blah, blah, blah. But, okay, that's off the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Frick.
I think, I don't know. I'll go, like, maybe you just, like, draw a picture of yourself and write your name and your birth. And then when you're eventually born, everyone's just going to think you're, like, the chosen one.
Oh.
And then you'll be like, everyone's like, this guy is, like, that's the
yeah.
guy.
I wouldn't
like,
be saying I walk with Jesus. I'd be saying I walk with Jayden.
Yeah, that's right. Either that or you
carve
just,
your
like...
actual name with the date, like, big, big fucking monumental thing.
It's either that or
It's
you
in the
just,
Natural
like...
History Museum in New York.
Yeah.
You walk in, high five yourself. yeah.
What
My
up,
guy.
me?
Couple pistol fingers. It's
remember
either
this
that or
like
you
it was
just
yesterday.
like you
Just draw an eggplant emoji.
yeah, or you just write like, you know, the grand final winner of some year, and then just bet the house on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard.
Fuck yeah.
Although you
I
go
always
into
think
some
of,
cave and it's just like you know, just a bet just written on the cave. Like, all right,
Just a
that's
multi.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, like any sort of like time travel thing, I always think of Back to the Future and how Biff takes the sports book of all the winnings. Blah, blah, blah. I think that to me is like, that's pinnacle. I'd do that as well probably. But caveman stuff, I don't know. Like leave them some sort of technology. I don't know. So by the time you come back to the Future,
That's true.
Where it's way like, everything that you've ever wanted to be invented has already been invented. Like already like try to fast track.
Yeah.
Fast track. Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
that's true.
you could. An idea I had was to write the alphabet, and then you are shifting linguistics for
Yeah.
thousands of years to the point that if you ever came back to present day, potentially humans as we know it are so much further forward just because you've given them such a kickstart.
Yeah, but then would you come back and be the dumbest human?
Yeah.
You know, like
That's
if you
true.
fast
That is
forwarded
true.
all of this
Because
stuff,
you only know how to like
Yeah.
do what you can do now. But
Yeah,
these
okay.
guys
in the
have had
200,000
millions of
years or whatever
yeah.
it was, and you come back and you're like, yeah, yeah.
Come back full dribbler.
But still, I like where your head's at. Like, I'm the same. I would like to advance technology or the human race so that when I came back, you could live forever, or you could live in the metaverse, or or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Talk amongst
it
yourselves
doesn't,
and
but
going
it
wheeze.
I don't know when was Hitler born? Can
Hey.
we put his date of birth on a fucking?
Good time to leave, Jared.
Can we put him on like a chisel that into the thing and just
a straight blacklist on
Yeah,
a cave.
yeah,
Like, if
like-
that guy was born, kill him.
That's it. We put a blacklist of
People
people.
that need to be.
It's like that movie.
euthanized.
Is it Wanted?
Yeah.
And they go around. They like carve they do the thing in the loom with weaving, and it's like they give them hit lists.
Yeah.
We could just write a hit list of all the worst people in the world ever.
That's right.
So
Yeah,
that
like
throughout
Hitler,
the history.
Saddam Hussein, Jake Paul.
Hey.
He's alright.
He was my latest dress up for Crate Day.
Was he? Oh yeah,
I
that's
was,
right.
I was dressed as
was
Jake
there.
Paul. I had the bleach blonde hair as well.
Nah, he's all good. He's not that bad. And that goes back to like clickbait shit. It's just he's just rocking people up. You know, it's the same shit. Let's not talk about that guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just put Jake Paul on the hit list back.
I need a wheeze as well.
Talking about the hit list, Hitler. He it's an
Hitler.
ethical thing with There's that age-old question of if you could go back in time and see Hitler as a kid, would you kill him? But then the counter argument is, would you kill a child who has a chance to change? And as a child, does he know what is in him, or is it something?
Wasn't he like a gymnast, or he was into like ballet or something? Like he wasn't even like you'd look at him probably as a kid and be like, you just don't know.
I haven't done my history with.
Okay, I'm not like the biggest
dork.
history guy. A dork.
If he's a gymnast,
a dick.
Nice backflip, dork.
Yeah, I don't know. That's actually a good question because it's right. Like
That was almost 6 weeks worth of uni got me.
Really?
Yeah, there was like a modern ethics paper that I was doing or something like that. They just gave you questions that were freaking hard to answer, and then you just argued about it, and then we all went home.
Yeah. And that was it.
Well, I don't know.
I just fucking spent 30 grand on this.
I'm sure there was more to it, but by that point I dropped out.
You dropped out. You're done. You're done.
The train was too long.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah.
Oh, you missed it. We actually had a good question.
Yeah. Hit him.
Hit me.
Hit him.
If you met,
Oh.
if you could go back in time and see Adolf Hitler as a child, would you kill him?
Yes.
The counter argument to this. No. You have your answer. That's fine. But I'm just saying that this question's been asked. It's a common question. The counter argument is: would you kill a child who doesn't necessarily know what he is yet and might have the ability
Like he
to
doesn't
change?
have those thoughts necessarily.
Would you
I
just
mean,
go back and kill a kid?
He was
You're
just a
trying to get me
gymnast.
No, but it is. It's
This
like,
is clickbait.
no, it's an ethical
Andy
experiment.
kills Adolf. No, I can't kill a fucking child. Right?
That's right.
Yeah, but if
What would you do? Like
if
You can
No
just say,
matter
I don't
what-
know. That's what
maybe
most people
you
say.
could give him a cuddle.
nah, but if no
Mentor
matter
him.
what I tried to do in history,
Adolf.
that he would still grow up to become what he became, then yeah, I would. But if there was a way to change it otherwise, then no, I'm not going to fucking kill a baby.
Just a baby.
You didn't say baby.
It's sick.
Did
Yeah.
you say child?
Yeah, well,
Kid, I was a
child.
kid,
I'm
yeah.
thinking like a 6-year-old.
I was thinking like 8. Yeah.
He's thinking of a 6-week-old baby.
Yeah, tomato. What the fuck? I don't know.
That's more like
children's ages.
tomato potato.
It's more like tomato.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
on tomatoes.
No, okay. We'll ask Jayden some questions then, because here's the guest, and we've talked enough about ethical experiments.
And Adolf.
So for those who don't know, Jayden's always actually been a great fan of the pod. He shares our shit, and he does.
I was always the
What's-
first-time listener.
Nice. And that was over in Australia, which you moved to 5. Okay, I
Yeah.
guess maybe tell the story, because you're
Well-
back, you've got kids,
Yeah.
you're engaged.
So it sort of started when me and Jared and our mate Ryan went to Europe, and then I met a gal, and she was an Australian, and
In Paris.
yeah, in Paris. It's a pretty cool story, but
What's her name?
Rachel.
Yeah, shout out Rachel.
I did mention her name.
Oh,
early.
sorry.
Get with it.
I'm still back in time, struggling over whether I kill Adolf Hitler as a fucking baby here.
Fucking
alright?
6-week-old.
But
Sorry.
yeah, so did a little bit of long distance and then decided to move over. So I lived there for 4.5 years, as you guys know, and yeah, just I
So-
loved hanging out with the boys and all that sort of stuff, but
Yeah, what pushed the move?
well, she could have come over here as well. Like it wasn't like you have to come to me or anything like that. She's awesome. She's so easy with like she's quite go with the flow.
Yeah.
And I just felt like I wanted to change. We partied Thursday, Friday, Saturday for a good 4 or 5 years straight.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that I didn't enjoy it. It was sort of like, well, this is an opportunity for me to grow up, essentially.
Yeah.
And
How I saw it when you left was you had got yourself into
It's a rut.
A rut, a routine / rut. But
Yeah.
it was a routine of a small circle, and nothing grows in small spaces. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And
That's right. And it was, the way I saw it was I lived my week, worked my week to go and spend all my money on the weekend. Like I was just, and don't get me wrong, I do not regret any of it. Like I was having fun. Like it was that, we can all agree that was the time of our lives. Like you look back on it, you're
dude,
like,
high school was so sick, man.
Wait till your kids
But
hear
it wasn't
this.
even high school. It was like,
No, it was after,
like,
yeah.
it was like 19, 20, 21. Like those 3 years in particular were like those, like
A
you can
blur.
remember just, I mean, as much as it was a blur, you can remember just about
Oh,
every party.
sorry, age. I was thinking like
Yeah.
2019,
No.
20.
No.
I was like, you ain't here, man.
But I think as a friend group, we do a good job of consciously taking a step back in the moment and realizing what's happening.
Yeah,
and
for
I'm sure a lot of people do it as well. But I also think that if you don't do it, maybe like make more of an effort to do it. Is that when something good's happening, just take a second to be like, man, this is what it's all about, kind of thing. Because when you do get into those ruts, and then you realize you have to have the good to have the bad, and vice versa, and all of that.
That's exactly right.
And
I think the important thing as well, like we hold each other accountable. Like
We do.
It's not like we go through this like party phase, or you go through an eating phase or a slut phase or whatever it is, and then it's
You do,
Well, it's
yeah.
true.
serious,
It's true.
you know?
It is
Yeah.
true.
And then as mates or as brothers, we'll talk to each other and say, hey, like, we'll call each other out.
We're not afraid to call each
on
other
other's
out.
shit.
We'll
Get it out of
give
your
us.
system,
That's
but-
right. We'll give each other the hard
Yeah.
talk when
And
it's
if you go
needed.
too far down the rabbit hole, I'm gonna grab you by the scruff of the neck and pull you back out.
That's exactly right.
so-
And as you should. That's what best mates do. At the end of the day, isn't it? Like,
yeah, and it was something that you had to do to yourself, especially when you
Yep.
left.
Yep. I was, like you said, I was in a rut, and I saw it as a good opportunity for me. I wanted to do it, but
Yeah.
I never had. I could have lived my life doing what I do or what I did for forever, but I never would
Yeah,
have
that's
gone
what I
anywhere.
meant by it was a routine of small.
Yeah.
It was like a triangle. We went ding, 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 and we just
Yep.
bounced around that.
And we just constantly did it. That's
Yeah.
right. There was a point where it was like Andy would be like, I don't want to come out. Like I'm just gonna have a chill one. I'll be like, Andy, I'll give you $100. Let's go out. Like it was just like that. And I was like,
Just ring your doorbell. Ding.
Yeah,
I've just been sitting out in your driveway,
that's right.
waiting for the better
That's
offer.
right. That's right. But like I say, so I took it as a way of going, you know what, I need to like improve my life, and I wanted to get away, and it was hard. It was hard. Like probably the first 2 years was, there was a few little like breakdowns, I guess, like not that I was alone.
So
But-
for anyone else listening, if they're in the same position and they're afraid to sort of take this leap or move country or be the position that you're in, partying 3 or 4 times a week, spending
Yep.
all your money and stuff, what advice would you give moving forward for someone that might be in the same situation?
Personally, for me, is leave your hometown that you've grown up in, and it might not necessarily be for everyone, but even if it's just a year, even if it's 6 months, like you went to Brisbane and
Yeah,
had
I
a little
lived in
time away
Brisbane.
from all the boys and that, and did your thing.
Yeah,
And you came back strong.
I've always said, especially after that trip, it's not how far away you travel. It's like it's how like what you do with that time.
That's exactly right.
You don't have to go to the other side of the fucking planet,
No,
and
not out here
it doesn't
moving to
have to be
Switzerland.
for 5 years. Like you can
Guten Tag.
you can go live in fucking Hamilton for 2 weeks, but
You could. I mean, you could.
you could. But you know what I'm saying? Like
you'll be trading in your
yeah, but it's not about how far you travel or for how long. It's what you do with that time that you
That's
are
right.
away, and that you help you reflect from that. Yeah, I completely understand.
That's exactly
So,
right.
yeah.
And that's always been my view is just, like get away, because it's so easy to fall into the trap of just, like you say, that triangle. You're just
Yeah.
going ding, 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 ding. Like it's the same thing. And certain people have addictive personalities. People have all sorts of different factors, you know, like we're all different at the end of the day. And yeah, like I say, I just saw it as a good way to get away. And I mean, I feel like personally I did a really good job of building what I built.
So you get to Australia and you meet your bird.
Yep.
So not meet your bird. You
Go to live.
Yeah, go to live with your bird. And
What's the settling in period?
Yeah, what's
like?
the
Where you're
next
like, all right, we're
series?
together now.
Well, you guys know I'm pretty bloody easygoing.
Yeah.
You know, like I can
pretty easy.
walk in a room. I can walk in a room with 100 people I don't know, and I can just start talking, and you know, by the end of the night, I know everyone.
Yeah.
But the way I saw it was, I always wanted to, like, I was always keen to get into the gym. So I was like, well, the gym became my best mate. You know, I was there 2 times a day, you know, 6 times a week. And I just...
I barely do 2 times a week.
But I was like, well, this is my time. Like, I don't have those distractions from everyone else. And
yeah, I did the same. Yeah.
yeah, and for me, the settling in thing was, honestly, probably for the first year, it was a bit slow because I was like, oh, shit, like, you know, I don't know anyone, and I'm not familiar with anything. Like, even driving the roads for the first, like, month or 2 was a bit, you know, like, it was
What about
almost
getting a
scary.
job?
It was different. Getting a job. So when I first moved, like, as you guys know, I'm a roofer.
Stealth roofing.
And as it all sort of began when I got there, I was like, well, I don't have anything. So I managed to get a job at a liquor store for like a month. And trust me, I am not a retail guy. I was like full sweating at like 9 o'clock at night, trying to shut down the store, like printing everything off the computers. Like that's not my thing. But I was like, I can't move over there and just live off my missus. Like you can't do that. And then eventually I applied for a job and got a good roofing job and moved up pretty quickly, which was awesome. But the settling in phase was hard, but probably once I got into my second year and I had this regular work life and I had my gym and I had all that sort of stuff. Like I built a good connection with Rachel's family and
so you're good with routine. Like say back in New Zealand,
just like
you were good with routine, but it was a bad routine. Now you've changed that
with good habits.
And now you're in a good routine over in Australia.
Yep.
And now you fast forward how many years, and then you
until
you have your first kid.
So Coda was born in September 2019. So I would have been, I don't know, 24. Yeah. 24. I don't know. Sometimes I think I'm a year older. Sometimes I think you sort of get to 22 and you start forgetting your age. Like, But yeah, so I would have been about 24. And one thing for me is I always wanted to be a dad. Like, always wanted to be a dad. And
respect.
When it happened, I was like kind of shocked, even though I was like, I kind of knew it was going to happen.
Sorry, keep going.
Like, I was shocked a bit, but I was like, I was pumped. I was like, so I knew from as soon as I found out, I was like, I'm having a boy. I knew I was having a boy straight away.
So did I.
Straight away.
So did I, mate. I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about yourself.
Yeah. What's his name?
It's probably out there somewhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just knew. You know, I just knew. And
you get that feeling. I had the same. Sorry, not for myself, but I knew as soon as. So this is what I was going to say when I just interrupted you, as I do. I remember exactly where we were when we found out.
Yeah, me too.
When I called you?
Yeah. Well, because we were driving home, I think it was like Sunday afternoon, like from our like routine food shop or something.
No, we were on the deck.
Yeah, I know.
You guys were flatting together at the time, eh?
We were flatting together, and you tried to call, and it was like, oh, Jayden's tried to call, and then you text saying, I've got big news.
Yeah.
And me and Jared, like, because you couldn't answer the phone, obviously, because we were still driving home, and it wasn't until we got onto the deck, but there was like we were like nearly home, like there was like a minute till we got home, and within that minute we were just like rattling off things.
There was like 3 things that could have happened.
It was like someone's dying, someone's getting married, someone's having a kid. Yeah. And then we were rattling them off, and then we got home. unpacked the groceries first. Sorry.
A couple bags of noodles. Noodles.
Had to get my ham in the fridge.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then you FaceTimed us and you showed us your ultrasound and everything. It was fucking fantastic. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Absolutely over the moon.
We sculled some drinks.
Oh yeah.
That's right. I remember. I'll never forget. As soon as I told you guys both dropped to your knees. Just start sculling.
Yeah.
But, and honestly, like, I'd say nothing changed my life. Nothing compares to having a kid. Especially, man, being in the room when your missus is in labor. I was like, okay, so have I even told you like how that happened? So like when we
a
went
couple of years
into the
ago,
room,
man, my memory is shot.
So I was like, Rachel was like having like contractions and that because we were real close, like a week out to the due date sort of thing. And I was like, well, I got to go to work. I'm like an hour away. So I went to work, yada, yada, yada. And then she's like, called me crying. She's really good pain threshold. And I was like, well, I got to go. So I came home, went in. Long story short, the doctors were like, and the nurses and that were like, well, you're not in labor. So just go home. Like, this is just, whatever.
There's a word for it and I can't think of it.
Neither can I. And I'll probably
feel like there's an H in there.
I don't know words.
Hickton.
Yeah.
Hickson Gracie.
Fuck, you're fucking that close.
That dude's a jiu-jitsu master.
Yeah. Braxton Hicks.
That's it.
And anyway, so it's like, it's just like...
Hickton
Gracie's. Babe, I'm having Hickton Gracie's.
I'm giving birth to a black belt, babe. He's got the black belt around his neck. Get him out. Then just...
Anyway, so we got told, like, nah, it's not happening. Go home. Yada, yada, yada. So the next morning, I'm like, well, got to go to work. So I went to work, and then she called me this time, and it was like 10:30 in the morning. And I was like, okay, it must be happening. So I came home, and she's like on all fours on the bed, and
like pre-birth.
And I'm that's right. And then I was like, well, I haven't had smoko, so I sat in bed and had my chili bin and
your esky.
my esky, and so I'm knee deep in a yogurt, and then Rachel's mum walks in and goes, she's in labor, you need to go to the hospital.
Put down the fucking Berry Deluxe.
Jayden wipes his top lip like,
I'm like,
what?
I've still got a mega nuts and a freaking fruit cocktail.
I got a sweet chili tuna to go. Anyway, take her in. 4 hours later.
All right,
he's
you
popped
drive.
out.
I've got a chalky milk to get through.
This up and go's not going to drink itself. But I won't lie, like during, there was like a really intense moment, and I was like, I'm gonna faint. So I sat down, and the midwives are like, "Why are you sitting down? Like, get up!" And I'm like, "I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna pass out." Anyway, so yeah,
she's in pain. I'm out.
Yeah. And it was a hard birth, like as in like the doctors were coming in, like, okay, he's not coming out. Just so you guys know, and you guys definitely know, my boy's got a big head.
Yeah.
And he was the 98th percentile.
For domes?
For domes. The dude can fit a fresh A-frame. And he's 2. Fuck. So,
He's got the guru head.
He's got a guru head for sure, actually.
I mean, at birth.
Okay. I was like, that motherfucker. No, but yeah, so, and there was nothing more like real, because Rachel had to be like wheeled off to like ER and get sorted out,
Cleaned up,
and it was just me and him, 3 a.m. in a pitch black room with a little dangly light over him, and I was just like, I'm a fucking dad. Like,
woo!
What do I do?
Do you want to watch Jurassic Park?
Yeah. And saying that, he's seen all Jurassic Parks at 2 years old.
Nice.
I don't know if that's illegal, but
So, like, one of my questions to you is,
yep.
how does it compare from when your parents used to tell you things about, you know, like strict rules, or like telling you off, or saying like nothing compares to like you wait till you have a kid, or, you know, like, so all those things that your parents have said to you growing up, and now that you have your own kids, like how does that compare? Like, do you believe what they said, or
Yes
do you
and
think
no.
they were exaggerating,
Yes
or like
and no.
was there,
So for me personally, is every kid's different,
right?
right? Like you may have a kid, and your kid might, you know, just not want to go to sleep or something like that. I'm not trying to jinx it, but like, you know, like it might be a difficult kid. Coda for me was a breeze, right?
Yeah.
Like he was easy, and you know, parents always go, well, you wait
Breeze
till
for
you have
you.
a kid, you're not gonna
Yeah,
sleep.
say
and-
goodbye to sleep.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
yada yada yada. And honestly, he wasn't that bad. It was quite easy, and for me, and what I've always believed is, your kid is just going to emulate how you are as a person or as a parent. So if
Right.
you're highly strung, really stressed out, your kid's probably going to be that kid that constantly is crying and
Kind of like a dog.
that it honestly, and
You
it's
did
funny you
not.
say that. No, but it's funny you say that because you know, you can be given the same dog as you, and you could be a bad owner, you could be a good owner. Like you could really train the dog well. You could train it to be, you know, just a mongrel. And this one could be good around kids. Your one could bite a kid. Like it's all about the way you train, the way you
Set some boundaries.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, you know, I could let Coda do whatever he wants. If he could run in there and jump on the table and be an absolute menace. But for me, if he did that, he'd get told off. And then he can walk into someone's house at 2 years old and not run and start jumping on their bed and doing things like that. Like it's
Yeah. So
it's-
environment is key.
Environment's definitely key,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, what I've also learned is it's so important to have a good like support system as well. So like everyone knows, and everyone like other adults know that you as the parent is, for example, is
You.
you
Shit.
is like you have the final say, you know. So
Yeah.
like you know, you could have a parent that just gives them, you know, things that they're not allowed, that they know you're not allowed, like you don't give it to them.
It's crazy how
And it can-
quickly kids learn
Yeah.
leverage.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When they're like, oh,
100%.
Dad's not going to give this to me, but man, if I go to
Yep.
Nana,
Yep.
then
That's right.
and I bat these little pretty little eyes.
That's right. And
I'm
Coda
getting-
does
I'm
that to
getting
me
that
now.
Freddo. Yeah.
Yeah, he does that to me. He wakes up in the morning and goes, ice cream? And I'm like, no ice cream. And then I'm
No
sitting there. I'm
protein
sitting there.
shakes and
Yeah,
oats
that's right.
and jujitsu,
With-
Hickson.
Which, yeah, but from what you're saying, like what you're saying is that, like with your parents, like the things that they tell you. At the end of the day, every kid's completely different,
Right.
and you know, like the whole no sleep thing, like. You adjust, man. Like I can wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and just walk down the hallway, put him back to sleep, walk back and go to sleep. 7 years ago, if I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, like that is the worst thing ever. Yeah, I'm all nasally. I'm like, come on, guys, like,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, essentially, like
So it's a lot to do with
it's you.
environment and in the different situations. So it's
If you start stressing out, the kid's gonna start stressing
because
out.
you hear a lot of these stories of like, oh, my parents said this or that, and they go, oh, once they have their own, like, and they say, wait till you have your own kids, and you're like, yeah, fuck you, mum and dad.
That's
But,
right.
Yeah,
That's
and
right.
but then you have your kids, and you go, oh, actually,
Yep.
you were being serious, but in actual fact, that's not. What
No, and
I'm
you-
understanding, it's not 100% like that. It
That's
depends on the situation and the environment that you have your kids in.
And you're not gonna parent to the book like how your parents parented.
No, it's a different time.
So that's right. And like, so for me, like my parents are awesome, but I don't everything that they did with us doesn't mean I'm going to do 100% what they do. So I've been around like awesome parents, like Jared's parents, Craig and Shan. Everyone knows that are close with me and Jared know that like I spent just as much I spent just as much time at their house than I did at my own house.
Yeah.
So like I base a lot of my parenting as a dad off how Craig parents, Jared's dad.
Yeah.
And you know, like I take little bits, and that's the good thing about having an awesome support like crew, I guess, is you get to take little bits from everyone, and you take advice. Don't get me wrong, like you should take advice from people, but you make that final decision if you know, like how to parent. And yeah, it's the ball's in your court at the end of the day, you know. No. And it's scary. It is scary. Like it's a scary thing, but it's not like, you know, like with my second kid, everyone's like, your second kid's gonna be, if you've got a good first kid, your second kid's gonna be a nightmare. Yeah. So my baby girl Ivy is.
So fast forward, you've had Coda.
Yep.
How long till you had Ivy?
Maybe a year and a half to 2 years.
Still in Australia at this point?
Yep. So she's right now, I've been here for 4 months and she's 7 months old. So she was about 3 months old.
Yeah.
And honestly, man, like
she's good too?
Oh, she's great. And I don't know how I've done it, but like I'm not going to blow my own whistle, but my own missus.
I'm sure you did. Stop scanning the schmeat.
No, but I don't know how I've done it, but both my kids are like beautiful kids. Like
yeah, they are.
They really are. Like, and I'm like, at first I was like, man, like, am I being biased? Like, are my kids actually cute, or are they just like because they're mine?
Yeah.
But
I do. My sister says the same thing.
Dude, it's the same thing. And your sister's kids are both beautiful. Well, like, it's the funniest, the weirdest thing about being a parent of like two kids, like young kids, is when you're going through like a shopping mall or whatever, and you're pushing them through, and you can hear everyone walking past and like, look at that baby, like that kid is so cute, and like shit like that, and you just gotta kind of like block it out. You can't just be like,
just get a T-shirt printed with like "I know" on the back.
Yeah, that's right.
It's just turn to them. Thank you.
Yeah. It's weird because you're like,
give them a business
but
card.
It makes you feel good. You're like, yeah, that's right. But yeah, no,
he's a black belt.
He will be. Old Hickson.
So, are you going to be one of those dads that like, are you going to push them into sports, or is it just I think because it's easy to say before you have kids. Like I know when I was younger and I was like, damn, I really want my kid to be able to defend himself with some sort of like martial art. But then like I really like rugby. I really like playing rugby. But then I love league, and I'm like, man, I think I want my kid to play league. And
I 100% get that, and I kind of was like that. But the way I've seen it, especially now, like seeing him, you know,
develop personality.
Yeah, and like he can throw a ball with both hands just as far as the other. Like he's very coordinated. So I'm like, well, the way I see it is, you pick a sport for your kid to begin with.
Yeah,
and they'll find their way.
And then
I think it's good for them as well when they're young to learn like a team environment.
That's right. And because, you know, you could not be pushy and then they go, nah, I don't want to play sports. And then you've got, I don't want to say it, but then you've got that sissy kid that doesn't want to like go and do something like that, you know, like, whereas for me, I'm like,
a few knocks doesn't hurt anybody.
That's right. And
I mean, if they like give it a good shot and try it, and then like a couple of years down the track,
I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, they don't want to do it, then fine.
100%. But so for me, I'm like, well, Rachel was a really good football player. So she went to college in America. She got scouted, went to college in America for like
I didn't know this.
2 or 3 years. Played football over there, and she, basically got recognized and got a scholarship in that. So she was really good. I always played football. We played on the same teams. I'm no scrub, but you know, I wasn't going like, you know, I'm 100% committed on football, you know.
Yeah.
But so I know I've seen him kick a ball at 2 years old, and I'm like, man, I remember playing with like 6-year-olds that couldn't even kick a ball like he does. So I'm like, I'm thinking I'm going to put him in a bit of football to begin with, And even for like with rugby and rugby league and that, I think it's important to learn how to kick a ball in that young as well.
Coordination goes far in rugby.
That's
Yeah.
right. So
even if you're playing football first, or because there's a lot of New Zealanders and Australians out there that want to push their kids towards rugby league and all that.
Yep.
But there's nothing wrong in putting your kid in football first, because they learn that coordination, they learn the team sport, and then if they
That's right.
start to get a bit bigger, or
And
he's
he's a
rough and
brute.
tumble, then
He's
like
a little
which
brute.
he is,
And then
Yeah.
you watch the Olympics and you're like, my kid is going to be a gymnast.
Yeah. Whereas
he likes the ribbons.
that's it. So for me, I'm like, well, I'm gonna put him a bit of football to begin with. If he wants to do it, if he wants to change and go and play t-ball, I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
but I do want to get him into a martial art early. So I want him.
You're
And
gonna be one of those hands-on dad coaches.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You're
how
raising
I
Troy
remember.
Bolton.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you remember.
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember it as a kid. I don't know.
My dad
Your
coached me when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all I remember as a kid being on, playing football, was my dad's voice on the sideline. Being like, go boy, like yelling at you.
Yeah.
It also teaches you a kind of thing where having my dad as a coach when I was younger, and then having him as a boss as I grew up, you learn how to talk to each other man to man.
Yep.
As opposed to father and son. You learn how to differentiate the conversations.
And respectfully.
And
Yeah,
when you
exactly.
get in the car,
because if you're in a sports team and he's your coach,
yeah,
and no sports team in the world, whether you're 5 or 50 or professional or whatever,
100%.
your coach is your coach. That's like your drill sergeant.
Yeah.
That's your dude, right?
100%.
And
That's your Rex Reed.
Yeah, so that's the sort of you build this respect, and it's not just talking to your dad anymore. It's about talking to someone that you respect and that you follow and as a leader. So and
Someone that has a game plan.
And there's nothing you respect more than when you get you get in the car at 6 years old and your dad tells you what you did wrong.
You can have the game of your life. You're walking away with 2 Happy Meal vouchers for Player of the Day. You're on jerseys and oranges next week.
But what was that?
But what did you do?
About?
You slipped off 2 tackles, mate. And fuck me, you didn't find touch.
Nah, 100%. And I'll be the first to admit, I probably will be like that because I was always hard on myself when I played sport. And, at the end of the day, like, my kids are my world, but I'm like, I want them to excel in things, So, and if he came to me and was like, Dad, I don't want to play football, or I want to go and
As long as you give it...
play tennis, I'd be like, that's all good. Like, you gave it a crack. So
That's all I can say about anything for anybody is as long, like, when people kind of skimp out on things, and maybe it's because I did it with uni.
Yep.
Not giving things an honest go before you can look back and be like, that's not for me. To bail out on things early just when shit starts to get a little bit difficult. But as long as I've known that, especially with a kid or something, that they've given an honest crack, I've seen them try.
That's right.
And then you can be like, okay, well, you can make your decision as long as you show some commitment.
That's it.
And I think that goes a long way, especially committing to something. If you've signed up for a team or something, see it through until you have the option to go, kind of thing. That's more when you're older, but...
No, 100%. Completely agree.
So